From the pictures, he was a beautiful, and if you see the notes in the album there, everyone remarked about what a solid kid he was. I don't know if he was already eating all those cookies, but he was a heavy, hefty, beautiful, bouncing baby boy. And Dad's work with OSS, Office of Strategic Services, is what took him back to England for an assignment, and so that was the reason for his travel. Not long after their return in 1951, the doctors began to start fully realize the impact of what was an accident at birth that created the condition that David had his life, and what must have been, and I just, can't imagine as a parent, the impact and the decision to make that they made with the council of doctors at the time to put David in an institution for the care that he needed. And as you all know, David needed a lot of care and needed to be watched all the time. And so demonstrating incredible courage that I can't imagine, the folks made that decision and still went on, had Daryl and I, a set of twins later, and had Joyce after that, and so they provided an example of courage in spite of what was a heartbreaking experience with their first child. David's mom died suddenly in 1966 when, at the young age of 41, when David was only 17. And 14 years later, in 1980, when our father was anticipating his own death, he had cancer, he was comforted by the fact that David, who had been institutionalized at Rosewood in Owings Mill, Maryland, had moved to Great Oaks in Silver Spring, which afforded him a great improvement in his care and the services that he could receive. So Dad was comforted with that as he approached the realization that he wasn't going to be around, and of course Mom was not going to be around to watch over this young man. And so with that as background, I have to tell you that there was some concern on our part when we got the news, largely driven by the fact that the state of Maryland had some budget problems, that David's time at Great Oaks was coming to an end. And that his care would be transitioned to a small community-based nonprofit organization. Well, I'm not sure I'd use the word alarm, but that's sort of what I felt. And so that brings me to you folks. We could not know at the time that David's care was going to take another gigantic step forward. David was transferred to the Jubilee Home in 1996, according to my notes, where he spent the last 18 years of his life with 3 housemates and a dedicated staff of caretakers, you folks. Thank you so much. For years I've admired the leadership and constancy of Tim. It's remarkable to find such ability and a commitment to what's a quiet cause of the developmentally disabled individual, all in the same person. The talents to lead this organization, the message, the constancy. Tim, I've admired it, and we've been beneficiaries. David's been a beneficiary of the leadership that you brought. When I was going back through my files to try to see what I needed to know at this event, I had forgotten how much Tim was directly involved. I got notes and letters and notes of calls to Tim as David was being transferred from Great Oaks to Jubilee. In those same files, because I was starting to investigate, I said, what's up with this? Can I resist it? Should I resist it? I have notes from the people that I interviewed, the Vanderlindens we had talked earlier, Tommy Vanderlinden being one of David's first housemates. And one of the notes jumped out at me, and that was that Ken's most notable talent, and he has many, really lies in his ability to hire the right people. And in an industry like this, where longevity is measured often in just months, I've got Carolyn. Now, Vicki, she doesn't count, she's new. There are some new people, and there is some turnover, but you take the Carolyn's been here for as long as David has. That's an incredible skill set to find people that can do this work and bring the kind of quality of care that David's received these last 18 years. Well done, Tim. Well done to you, and well done to all of you for the services that you provided to our family. I've talked to many of the staffers over the year. I think Angela had the duty most of the time to give me a call and say, Dana, David's at the ER, you know, we're checking this out and checking that out. But Angela's been there with a very long time. I don't know exactly. And so that consistency is really a hallmark of this organization. We appreciate that.